Welcome back to Mindfulness Moments. Today, I want to talk about choosing peace. There's a very big book called A Course in Miracles. It's dense. Sometimes the language is off-putting, but there's a repeated lesson in there of choosing love over fear. I can choose peace instead of this. The idea is that both love and fear can't exist in the mind simultaneously. If the mind is overtaken with fear, love is absent. If the mind is full of love and peace, then fear has no room. Sometimes we know this to be true. Sometimes in our practice, sometimes in our daily life, we know that this is true. And so because we know that it exists, because we've had a glimpse, we can water that seed of peace, of happiness, of forgiveness. We can grow, we can move out of suffering and be happy. Just like any idea or any concept, it always seems lofty or easier in theory. But those of you who have been practicing for a while, who have been following your breath, who have been coming back to the present moment, you recognize how sometimes your mind wants to play with these toys. It wants to play with sadness. It wants to play with suffering. It wants to play with anxiety. But just as it wants to play with those things, just as you take your camera lens and you focus and you move away from that compost pile and look at the beautiful flower, so too can you do with your mind. You can change your focus. We're not ignoring the compost pile. The compost pile is very important for the flower, for the soil, for the nutrients that the flower needs. We pick the weeds and we bury them near the flower, add nutrients. So too with our lives, so too with our experiences. Sometimes it feels as if there's no point. And this is when we fall into that deep well and we can't see our way out. As we see is this wall in front of us. And we forget what it was like above that well, walked on land, when we caressed the earth, when we saw the beautiful flower, when we heard the child laugh. But we have to look at our experiences and we have to grow from them. We have to choose to learn, to take accountability, to forgive ourselves, to forgive others, to look at ourselves with compassion and see that we're a work in progress. We are a work in progress. Kobe Bryant didn't wake up one day one of the greatest basketball players that ever lived. He worked hard. So did Michael Jordan. So did all these other athletes. And their struggle, their appreciation for their struggle has made them better athletes. A lot of times you see someone who's completely gifted, where things are easy for them. We don't hear about them anymore. They went on to do something different, something more challenging for them. And so life can seem really challenging, can seem really frustrating. But we can choose peace. We can choose not to struggle. We can choose to bend with the wind like the Tao. We look at trees. Trees stand firm and they struggle with the wind. They go through various seasons. They're a great reminder for us to grow roots, to reach down deep for that nourishment, to go deep inside. The wind blows, it tries to blow them down, and sometimes it does. But they transform. The fallen branches can become firewood to keep someone warm. The fallen leaves can be raked up and put in a compost pile where children can play in them. Birds can live, can make nests. We need to change our focus. We need to see the beauty in the world. We need to be aware of the suffering. But we also need to see, we need to go deep. We need to see, are we attached to the suffering? Are we addicted to our struggle? Have we developed some sort of archetype for ourselves? Something that we identify with, and then we're just focusing on reasons to dislike ourselves, reasons to hate ourselves, reasons to be anxious, reasons to stay in fear. Or can we look deeper and see that if I can get out of this, if I can go into the light, I can share my happiness, and I can help you along the way, and I can show you the way out of suffering and the way to choose peace. All you have to do is choose it. You don't have to have a special cushion. You don't have to have a special music, special place. You just have to have a deep desire to wake up, to dust yourself off, to forgive yourself, to love yourself, learn from it, to be authentic, to share, to help, to serve. So I invite you to choose peace, choose love. When you catch yourself looking down, look up. When you catch yourself focusing on the compost, look at the flower. Be the peace. Thank you. Please like, share, subscribe, and have a great week.